What is going on, basketball lovers and hoop heads? Welcome back to Check Up. My name is Bryce, as always, here to bring you the basketball content that you so badly deserve and desire. We're here to talk about defense today, something that I haven't really done too much thus far on the channel. But I figured, why not start off with the best kind of defense, interior defense. And we're going to go over who I think are the three best big defenders in the league. Hopefully this doesn't sound too homerish. I don't think there's any surprises here. But let's talk about some ball. Let's go over it. And, let's just dig into it. I don't want to waste any time. I don't want to waste any time on the intro. We're done. Now, as I said, we're talking about the best defenders who are big men in the league, and what makes a good big man a good defender. Biggest thing in the modern NBA: switchability and rim protection. It's all about the threes and the layups, brother, and a guy who can anchor a defense and is able to not only contain perimeter play but also defend the rim exceptionally well and just be a disruptor out there. That's the most valuable thing you can do. So we're going to start with a little bit of a homerish pick here, but we're talking about my guy Chet Holmgren. And yes, this is my proclamation, by the way, that Chet Holmgren is the best big man defender in the NBA. I don't want that to sound blasphemous. We'll talk about why in this video. I promise this is not demeaning to Wemby in any way, but I think Chet, given his understanding of the game, the understanding of offenses, his incredibly high IQ, and his exceptional hand-eye coordination. If he was in Wemby's body with Chet's brain, dear God, pray for the league. And we already have to pray for the league with Wemby currently, but I think Chet is just a teensy bit better. I'm sorry if that's blasphemous. I really am. But the way he just deletes shots, the way he guards pick and roll, the way that he causes disruptions for people, the little swipes, the little just nuances of his game, always keeping the ball in play. By God, if you block a shot, keep the ball in play. It does not help your team if you send the ball flying out of bounds. So I think Chet, he's just such a smart guy. And if you listen to him talk about basketball, don't fall into the memes. Don't fall in the memes of hating on Chet because he's a white boy who talks a little out there sometimes. But if you listen to him talk about the ball, you can just tell how smart he is and how much he cares and how much this is his craft. His tracking ability, his mobility, his shiftiness in his hips, his hands are always up. He's always active. He's just such a disruptor. I love this dude, and was the perfect player to put on this OKC team to truly take them over the top. Let's go ahead and talk about some stats. All right. And these stats come from 2024 because we're in the 2025 season. We don't have enough stats so far to draw this information. This is, of course, according to databaller.com, my favorite website on the whole goddamn planet, man. So, these are some interesting defensive stats. Defensive stats, again, like, they're not the most useful thing in the world. I think game tape is much more useful when we're talking about defense, but stats can mean something. So when Chet is the closest defender to any given player, they take a 7.3% dip from their usual shooting percentage. That is in the 96th percentile of the league. Again, this was last season. At the rim, there is an 18.4% decrease when Chet is the nearest defender, and I believe that was like 100th percentile. Like he's players take the biggest dip in the league against him. Insane. Almost 20% drop at the rim. Beyond bonkers numbers. He gets 3.8 blocks per 100 possessions, and has an 8.2% block percentage. He generates 1.2 steals per 100 possessions. Nothing crazy, but they're generated. And then an interesting stat that Data Baller has created is something called the stop percentage, which is just a is essentially supposed to be a numerical figure that tells you how often a guy generates a stop. It includes steals, blocks, and offensive draws found per 100 possessions. And Chet has a stop percentage of 4%, which is in the 93rd percentile. So highly skilled defensive player, some incredible top of the league stats. The percentage drop ones just blow my mind. But I'm done waxing poetic for just a moment about Chet Holmgren, and we're gonna break down some tape. We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty of things, and we're gonna talk about what really matters. As you can see, this is in the middle of Game 7 of the NBA Finals from last year, in which Chet Holmgren had the most blocks in a Game 7 of the Finals of all time. Just a groundbreaking game. Look at the way that he really disrupts this play. Forces T.J. McConnell to drive right into Lou Dort, who almost causes a turnover. Aaron Nesmith slipped to the dunker spot. T.J. whips it around to Nesmith, who tries to go up, and Chet just erases it. Lou Dort able to keep that ball in bounds, denying two guards access to the rim and the ability to blow by him. He's nuts. He's nuts. He's so good. I love Chet. I love Chet. I love Chet. Another clip from the playoffs here. Not against an impressive ball handler, but this is against Rudy Gobert, who for some reason is dribbling the ball over the half-court line. Chet Holmgren does an excellent job of disrupting his handle, help pick him off, and then throws this nice hit-ahead pass here, which unfortunately does not lead to anything. But just good defense from him out on the perimeter. Active hands, disrupts the handle, causes a turnover. 3, 2, 1. A great play from Chet here in the clutch coming up. This is in semi-transition off of a missed OKC bucket. Here is Dennis Schroeder. He has the ball, and he sees Chet, no one else at the rim, no one even really close to this, and he's like, I'm just going to take this dude on. Notice Chet. Look at the way he dropped his hips. Let's rewind that. We're going to watch it back real quick. We're going to look at the way he just laterally moves his hips, keeps his arms down, not swiping at anything. Just stepping side to side, and just two hands just deletes that shot. Impressive. Dennis Schroeder blows by like 95% of the bigs in the league, but Chet cuts the angle off, just slaps his shot away. We got another, of course, nice defensive play from Chet here. We're going to see him. Chet was guarding initially Jake LaRavia here in the corner. DeMar DeRozan kind of, after setting the screen, is going to filter to the corner. We'll see him he points, yells at Kenrich Williams and says, hey, switch on to that guy. So nice job communicating there. Domantas Sabonis kind of gets an angle on the spin here on Jalen Williams. In theory, could kind of bump him, move him, get a layup here, just kiss it off the glass. But Chet comes over to stunt this drive and force the pass out. Chet's impressive length and wingspan, 7'6" wingspan, by the way, he is able to recover, contest this three, and force a miss. Just nice play-in, wonderful help defense, and then was able to recover to his guy in the corner. And then the final clip that we're going to go over here is, again, just a nice switch from Chet Holmgren. As you can tell from the little score bug down here, if my title would get out of the way. The Thunder are on an 11-0 run. This is a big possession for Boston. Derek White gets a switch out here. Derek White's pretty shifty, pretty quick guard. Moves to his right, crosses back over to his left. Chet does an excellent job here. He's going to move like his entire body like 180 degrees, flip his hips, and stays with Derek White. Al Horford is not spacing out here. Aaron Wiggins plays some nice help defense, and Derek White just has kind of nowhere to go. If he goes up with this, the shot is getting erased into the sands. It's gone from memory. But instead, what he tries to do is he just gets walled up by these guys, tries to throw the wraparound pass to Horford, but because of the constant pressure from Chet and Wiggs here, just throws the ball away. They force a turnover. Oh, we're just gonna keep this video moving right along, baby, and we're gonna talk about the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in Evan freaking Mobley. Evan Mobley is not the rim defender necessarily, or like the blocks getter that Chet Holmgren and the other guy that we're gonna talk about are, but the most special thing about Evan Mobley is his absolute switchability, which is mega, mega, mega important for this Cavs team because they have awful, awful point of attack defense. And I think if Evan Mobley was in a situation where he had like even just a single like great point of attack defender, like his skills would be highlighted even more. I don't know why I'm saying like his skills would be highlighted. Like this dude just won Defensive Player of the Year. He's obviously recognized as an exceptional defender, but again, he's forced to do a lot, and I think some of his metrics that we're going to talk about here in a sec don't jump off the page as much as the other guys because they're more about like stat getting, and there's not a lot of defensive stats to get. So that's why we must talk about Evan Mobley on tape. Super switchable guy, does a lot to clean up the mess that is the point of attack defense in Cleveland. He's super long. This dude is like 6'11" with a 7'4" wingspan, so almost just as big as Chet Holmgren, but he's a little more mobile, a little more rangy. He's pretty thin, but it doesn't normally matter all that much. Does a really nice job, probably better than the other guys, of like fluidly containing guards and forwards when they're driving. I think the other guys are able to contain guards and forwards just because they are so damn long. They're so damn big, but Evan Mobley does it with like fluidity. He's just really exceptional to watch, and he's got decent lift. He's got some hops onto his game, and I think sometimes players like underestimate how long his arms are, so he can kind of poke away the ball, or when he's like generating steals, like guys underestimate what he can and can't, get at. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think you hopefully understand what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ. Let's talk about the stats, okay? So players take a 3.3% dip when Evan Mobley is the closest defender. This is in the 77th percentile of NBA fans. And again, this is from 2024, so not quite as much as Chet and then again the other guy we're going to talk about, but still quite good. Almost top quarter of the league. And then an 8.8% decrease at the rim when Mobley is the closest defender. So almost a 10% drop. Really exceptional number there. He gets about 2.5 blocks per 100 possessions and has a block percentage of 5.8%. And he generates about 1.4 steals per 100 possessions, which is solid. Good. And then that stop percentage stat that we were talking about before, he's got a 3.1% stop percentage, which is in the 66th percentile. Again, the stats don't show up as crazy, I think, as the tape does. He does a lot to be a deterrent, to be an annoyance, to really just bother teams with his long arms, his exceptional eye-hand coordination, and his fluidity as a defender. Let's go ahead and get into the tape, and let's break down some plays. We've got another clip from last year's playoffs. If you didn't pay attention to the Pacers-Cavs series, or if you don't remember it too well, Andrew Nembhard had an exceptional series, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, ended up handling the ball more than Tyrese Halliburton in this series. That's what they kind of realized was the Cavs' weakness for whatever reason. Andrew Nembhard was exceptional in all playoffs long. So remember that when we're watching this clip. And remember how I was talking about how Evan just moves better laterally and is a bit more fluid than Chet and Wemby. Look at the way he shifts his hip. He stutters his feet. He steps around. Does an excellent job of just staying with him. He's not taking these big strides. He's moving his feet really quick. These choppy little steps that help wall off the driving lane for Andrew Nembhard. It's going to force him into this tough step back, and I mean, just look at where the ball is. The ball's down here. It's not ready to come up, and look how, like, how much he's going to have to just kind of launch this thing up over Mobley. Not a good shot. Kind of misses badly off the back of the rim. Excellent fluidity from him there, showcasing his switch ability. Again, not again, but NBA fans have a propensity to think that these thin, big guys are just going to get moved around constantly. And this clip showcases us that that's not really going to happen all the time. So Ivica Zubac, who is a massive human being, does kind of move Evan under the rim. But we see as he tries to get to his spot, the help comes over from Max Strus from the weak side, and is going to force him to turn to his right. Now, he wants to just barrel his shoulder into Mobley here, move him off the block, but Evan does a great job of standing straight up, going straight up with the verticality, contesting that shot exceptionally well, and forces like a really bad miss on a guy who is much, much bigger than him. Again, I think sometimes NBA fans tend to overthink these wiry framed guys. Yes, it can sometimes be a bad thing for them, but most of the time it doesn't. It doesn't, especially if they're as good as defenders. Just with the IQ, with their bodies as the guys that we're talking about in this video. Another little great clip here from Evan Mobley, just showing him like shutting down some driving lanes. Contains this pick and roll exceptionally well here. He's going to force the pass back out to the perimeter. This guy is going to attack Dean Wade on the closeout. Is going to kind of blow right by him, but Evan is going to step up. Once again, help contain this drive. Is going to force a pass out, which I believe turns into a travel call or some kind of call that stops the play. I don't know. But we saw him contain two separate drives there, just doing a really good job of positionally being in the right spot. It's not always about getting the block. It's not always about whatever. It's just sometimes positional defense is the best defense. Kind of similar to a clip we watched from Chet earlier. This is Mobley's going to once again help contain this drive. Scoot starts out with this nice little hezzy move that kind of helps him. He doesn't quite get an angle on Dean Wade towards the rim, but you could have seen him going up with this layup given that Evan wasn't here. And then we're going to see he forces the pass out to the perimeter. We're going to see a nice recovery from Evan here, a good contest, and a missed three-pointer. And this is our last clip here. This is maybe the best example of just that fluidity and the ability to move laterally as an athlete that Mobley has. Just so impressive, man. We're going to see the easy switch on to Jason Tatum here. He's got him at the perimeter. And he moves to his left, spins back to his right, switches direction. Just staying with him all the way. Gives him that little poke. Maybe he should have kept his hands up here to help better contest, but pokes at the ball. Tatum feels him poke, knows his hand's down, so he just kind of launches this up. But because Evan was in the right position, he's did a good job of kind of keeping this off kilter. Just kind of forces this one up. Really excellent switch defense from Mobley, and I hope I kind of highlighted, again, just his fluidity, the ability to move laterally is really impressive compared to these other guys who just cover a lot of ground given their immense size. And now, of course, it's time to talk about the alien. It's time to talk about Victor Wembanyama, who is kind of just the consensus depoy until we all of a sudden decide that we want to vote otherwise. Now, I made a claim early in this video that I think Chet is a quote-unquote better defender than Wembanyama. And I think some of the tape will show that, but the most terrifying thing is that despite some of the occasional mistakes that Wemby makes or the way that he gets blown by sometimes, it just sometimes it just doesn't matter. Things feel so helpless, and the way that he just erases opportunity for teams is terrifying. I mean, he's just an alien. He's something we've never seen before. Not at this height, not with this length. I mean, he's 7'5", probably more like 7'6", with an 8-foot wingspan. He's huge. This dude is massive, and he takes up so much space on the court. Great, excellent hand-eye coordination. Good, strong defensive IQ. Can do it ambidextrously with his left, with his right. Doesn't matter. His limbs are always in the way. I find that he doesn't always, if he's like switching onto a ball handler, he's not always taking the best angles to cut off like driving lanes for some people. Like sometimes he will just go like parallel to them and just let them drive by him. They'll get like a step on him or something. But man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's so scary how much it doesn't matter, man. It's hilarious. All you can do is cackle. And honestly, like when you watch his tape, unless you're getting the blocks and the steals, there's not a lot of like a ton of impressive switches or him defending the low post or whatever. Like teams are just scared of him. They don't want to go near him, which is different with a guy like Rudy Gobert for years. Like Rudy Gobert was certainly a rim deterrent, but there were certain teams, and I'm thinking like OKC specifically did this for years, that would just attack him, just go at him, just make him tired, just like don't be fearless. And a lot of times it would end up working in their favor. And you'll see a lot of people like try guys. People try Chet all the time. It doesn't work out for them, but they try it. People don't try Wemby, man. They're just scared. It's crazy. People are just scared, and it's hard not to see why. The stats, the tape, the blocks, the clips, everything is so impressive. Let's talk about some of those stats real quick. Let's go over that before we get into our clips here. So, like we said for the other guys, players take a 6.8% dip when Wemby is the closest defender. That's in the 95th percentile. Again, this was last season. There is a 13.6% decrease at the rim when Wemby is the closest defender. That's in the 94th percentile. He hits 5.6 blocks per 100 possessions and has a 10.4% block percentage. At the time when I was making my little reference sheet here, he has a 13.8% block percentage and 25-26. What the hell is even that? 1.7 steals per 100 possessions, and then of course the stop percentage, 5.7%, the 99th percentile stop percentage. Absurd, alien stuff. This guy is terrifying. He's gonna run the league forever and ever and ever, man. I hate this for my guy Chet. But I know that Chet would accept the kind of challenge that Wemby provides as an award getter. So. At least we have that. Let's break down some tape, though, shall we? Again, 5 clips. We're just going to run through these real quick here, man. The first one up, like I was kind of talking about with Evan, the impressive fluidity that he has really assists him to be as good of a defender as he is. We saw here, like, Jason Tatum kind of shakes and bakes a little bit with Wemby, but the final contest, like, it just doesn't matter. The shot had no chance of going in ever. That's so tough. It's so crazy. Like, again, not an exceptional, like, it's staying in front of guys all the time. He'll get blown by. They'll shake and bake him or whatever. But sometimes it just doesn't matter. That was a perfect example of it just not mattering. This next clip is just a little funny to me. Like, kind of thing where you think you're safe and you're just not. I'm freeze framing this real quick. Look at where he's standing. He's not even like moving closer to poke this ball away. He's just gonna stand from like, I don't know, what is that, 3-4 feet away, and he's just gonna boop, just poke that ball right away. Under normal circumstances, you would think that you're safe there in that scenario as the ball handler, but he just pokes it away from so far away. It's so dumb. It's crazy. Three, two, one. So this is an example of him kind of getting moved off his spot. Again, he is so thin and dangly that some guys are going to put a shoulder into him and move him. But even if you do move him, he kind of gets pushed off his spot there. He recovers well, forces an air ball. So moving with Jaren, doesn't really cut off the driving lane. Gets moved just a little bit off kilter. So Jaren thinks, I'm good to go up for the hook. And then, no, you're not. You are not good to go up for the hook, man. And speaking of guys who will just barrel into you, man. And, I said earlier that most teams are not fearless of Wemby, but Giannis is not fearless in this clip. And Wemby shows us why. Giannis gives him the bump, kind of scoots him back a little bit. Now, look at this. He's got an angle on him, right? He's theoretically kind of on the left of his hip. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo we're talking about. Like, this is Shaq. This is mobile Shaq we're talking about. He, in most scenarios, would be able to just rise up and either, like, dunk this or just kiss it off the glass. But, like, it doesn't. Giannis has the angle. Like, Wemby is fully on his backside. Giannis accomplished what he wanted to, but Wemby is the only big in the league where, like, that just doesn't matter. All right, second to last clip here. I lied. I have 6 clips, not 5. Another excellent example of a guy getting position on Wemby, and who gives a shit? He certainly doesn't. That ball gets deleted. Just crazy. It just doesn't matter. And look at the fast break 3. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. Generating points, generating possessions. Just such, what a special kind of player. Again, like, I don't think he's the literal, like, highest IQ, best defensive player, but because of his makeup, his body, his hand-eye coordination, it just doesn't matter, and that's what's crazy. And then I think we'll just run through this last little clip right here. This is so fun. He gets beat. Doesn't matter. Like I said a million times, it do not matter, partner. It do not matter. He gonna get that thing and he gonna block it. Crazy stuff, man. I think that just about wraps it up for me here. Thank you so much if you stuck all the way to the end. I hope you appreciate this kind of video. If you want to hear me talk about some defense some more, let's do the damn thing. Why don't you? Let me know in the comments. Like this video. Subscribe if you're new here. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. I don't give a damn, but if you would be so kind as to share it. As always, this is Bryce. This has been Checkup. Bryce at Checkup. I don't know. I'm really riffing on an outro here. Doesn't matter. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Okay, bye.